Welcome in, college Deadlock fans, to Division III Round 4 match between the University of North Alabama Gaming and the University of Illinois Chicago. I'm HD Philly B, and in the booth with me today is my partner in crime, Jord. Buddy, we are in for an epic clash here between these schools tonight.
I'm excited. I said it earlier, we're playing in the sticks today, Philly. Playing in the sticks as a Midwest resident. Personally, I have no bias, but, you know, it's nice to see Illinois being represented here. I don't live in Illinois, but close enough. But yeah, I'm excited. Getting a little bit of college Deadlock first for me for this season, so get to see what these players are made of, and new patch, so perfect time to do it.
And you're in for some history, my friend, because neither team has a victory under their belt. With the regular season winding down, they need every win that they can get. So somebody will possibly walk away with a W or one in the W column. We'll see who it is. But first, let's take a look at the rosters.
Let's take a look here. Beautiful. UIC Deadlock. We got Atlas, Chip, Harsh, Gigi, Just Jumping, and Moo Cello. And the University of North Alabama Gaming. We got the TFK, Frog, Link, Rose, Rar, and Ghost. Lots of names that I'm excited to see how they do. Let's create some stories here. That's what the best part about casting is, right? We get to finally see, you know, how some of these players prove themselves.
I'm just excited that these names are like legitimate, readable names. That I'll have to be like, wait, how do I pronounce this? It's like Mucello, I got it. Harsh makes sense to me. But the folks that I'm going to be looking at are the captains of these two squads. That is Atlas and the TFK. They are going to be leading their squads to hopefully their first victory on the evening. They have the most experience on their teams. They've rallied the troops at their schools to come together to join the collegiate deadlock scene. They're the ones that have a lot of pressure on their backs tonight.
Yeah, I mean, when you set everything up, you want to perform, right? And keep in mind, for those who are not aware or maybe forgotten, it is a best of two format, so there actually can be draws. I think both these teams have a few draws under their belt, right? So kind of, you know, worst case scenario, best case scenario doesn't really exist here. You got three: win, lose, draw. Draw, definitely not what you're shooting for either of these teams. As you mentioned, we're getting, you know, close to the end of that regular season, right? So both these teams really want to pick up that win, because having a couple draws under your belt doesn't really get you the points you need to advance forward.
Yeah, and the University of Illinois Chicago, they've drawn twice so far. They're a team that kind of builds their momentum throughout a series. I would love to have them in a true best of three and see how they fare, because I feel more often than not they would win it, but because it's just, you know, two matches, see what happens, go from there. They just haven't been able to like hit the whole Mach 10. They're like at Mach 8, 9, hitting the gear shift, and then the game's over and they're like, oh, and they got to go home. So I hope they make it in to the playoffs to have really, so their momentum can really shine. That's the story of that team there. For the University of North Alabama Gaming, kind of on the up and up. They're forming together as a team. They're learning how to really play the game as a six-person unit, and that's one of the most difficult parts from going to solo queue to an organized play.
Yeah, and sadly for those hopes and dreams, the new patch might throw a wrench in a few things. Hopefully not too much of the teamwork. You know, hasn't been too many huge reworks, a couple changes here and there with some characters, a lot of items getting buffed, a lot of number changes. But I'm really excited to see how these two teams navigate that change of the patch. What is prioritized character-wise, right? What items are being rushed? What's kind of play styles are being figured out here between the two teams? That's kind of the fun part about these grassroots scenes, right? Is seeing how each of these scenes, each of these teams, you know, for the collegiate, it's each of these schools, right? Figuring out how they want to play the game. And we'll see how this new patch affects it.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of MOBAs. Everybody has their own take. If, I do this build, but what if I adjust this item here at this time and do this? And it could open up a whole new can of worms. So it's really unique when we have these adjustments come through from casters like us, pain in the butt, because we've got to do research, we've got to bring out the notepads, the papers, whatever, highlight our spreadsheets, but all worth it in the end, because we're students of the game, just like these students are athletes playing in the collegiate deadlock scene tonight. I'm interested to see how the draft goes, just because when you're at this level of play, you probably have a couple of specialists on your team. When I mean specialists, Jord, you know I'm saying the one tricks, but I try to play them nice, right? So like you might have a one trick who only plays Lash. Well, you got to build around that, and that's where the captains come into play, trying to maybe hide that person in the draft so it's not so clear, because if they get banned out, then maybe they're a fish out of water. You never want to have that as a 6-person team. But Jordan, you mentioned the patch notes. Who are some clear front runners we'll probably see banned first?
Man, there's a couple characters that really have been dominating the first couple days at the very least. Two that come to my mind first: Wraith and Doorman. Doorman got a huge buff. It reminds me of Release Doorman, where you get one shot in lane by his call bell, and that's it. He throws the bell at you, he shoots it, and you lose half your HP. He's back, baby. Back in full swing. Obviously, that character doesn't really scale quite as well as some of the other ones, like Wraith, for example, as a second one, who now, instead of having like a little projectile where it comes at you and you can react to it, oh no, it's coming at me, let me cast Ethereal Shift or whatever you got. Now you just get kidnapped immediately. She presses the button, you get kidnapped, and she can now throw you anywhere that she wants to. So in laning phase, Wraith is now, once she gets that ultimate online, a very, very strong, kind of more pick character now almost, now that she can actually control where she's sending you with her ultimate. So it's a pretty interesting pick. Those are the two on my list, but obviously, I mean, the new characters, right? I've been playing a lot of Apollo. That character is still very, very strong. Let's see here. Silver got nerfed, so I'm not going to be too worried about her. I don't think she'll be prioritized too much here. Celeste still very, very good. I think that she will be a good prio, but really there's so much stuff. I think the game's in a really balanced spot. Maybe a couple tweaks to fix maybe some of the overbuff things in the patch, and really the game's in one of the best spots it's been in a long time, in my opinion, balance-wise.
Yeah, lots of fun. I mean, with the new cast of characters, we're really extending what we can do, and as you mentioned, my friend, Wraith immediately on the gray screen. This character is so freaking strong right now. The buff to her card trick, how that works, telekinesis, as you mentioned. I mean, just incredibly strong. What I've noticed through the patch notes is Venator was not touched, and they might be one of the carries that folks are looking for. It will be the Bebop, though. Usually in this, you know, as people are learning how to play organized, right, together as a 6-person unit, Bebop can really be a nuisance because they're maybe not always communicating. Comms aren't clear. Oh, it's our other robot friend, the Professor Dynamo. Okay, I actually love this because when I was reading through the patch notes, Dynamo, I think they're leaning him more towards the support side of things, like his gun damage is kind of decreased, quantum entanglement's not as good with the fire rate, etc. But the kinetic pulse is really going to have him be a bully in lane. And so, okay, take him off the board. Let's see if we can get ourselves a good laning phase. And it will be the Victor picked up first.
Victor, definitely very oppressive as well. I failed to mention kind of just how good he is right now. Honestly, let me just make sure so I got the numbers, but he did get a lot of slight changes to him. Nothing, I mean, crazy strong. His pain batteries do a bit more damage, they have a bit more range. Can do a bit more, I guess they have a bit more spread so they can hit a bit easier. Basically, Victor has a bit of an easier time in lane. He's not kind of that bullet sponge in the first 10 minutes of the game like he normally was, and then he comes online. He actually can play from the get-go, and if he gets online in that laning phase, he is a very, very difficult character to stop. And over trying to stop him is going to be the Calico and the Ivy. Two pretty strong picks in terms of map and macro game, right? Can kind of run around, keep the lanes pushed, keep everything controlled in a team fight. Not necessarily a great pick into Victor on its own, but you got the whole draft ahead of you here for the University of North Alabama Gaming. And there we go, another nuisance in the patch here. Rem, the ultimate did get nerfed, so you can now stop the REM sleep instead of before it was completely unstoppable, so that was a bit rough to deal with. However, this character's still pretty strong. Lots of healing, lots of damage from the pillow tosses, can still run around the map in 2 seconds and take all of the center sacrifices, so we love to see that. And there's the Celeste that I was talking about earlier. So a lot of new characters here for UIC Deadlock and University of North Alabama Gaming. Let's see what their third pick here is to counter that strong, pretty good 3 start for University of Illinois.
I would love to see some frontline. Maybe an Abrams, maybe a Billy. Yes, they've fallen with the priority because of how they've been shifted in terms of this balance patch. For me, the biggest trend that I've noticed is how the ability points now need to be allotted. Before it was just like, I'm always going to do this, or I'm always going to do that, right? You have to be more tactful about how you allot your ability points, because the 5-point scale actually feels like it should be worth 5 points, just with adds more stun time or more damage or whatever it is. Whereas a lot of the one ability point pieces, there's kind of just a little bit more less nuance, right? It's just a like 60 damage or 10 fire rate or whatever it is. So you really have to invest to make your character feel impactful. There it is, though. Impact abound. It's the Doorman, spirit scaling out the wazoo. He's going to be a true nuisance in the lane.
Yeah, whatever lane the Doorman is in is a lane that is going to try to win, Philly, as we see a Vindicta ban over on North Alabama Gaming. And we'll have to see what Illinois wants to respond with. Now, the thing with Alabama's comp right now is they have a lot of utility, a good amount of early game damage. Obviously, the Calico, the Ivy, and the Doorman all have, a good amount of base damage to work with. But later in the game, there's not too much damage scaling, unless the Calico gets very far ahead. Then she kind of just one-shot whoever she wants. But mainly, I feel like in a lot of the comp settings, she's mainly played as more of a frontline. And there's another kind of utility character, that Viscous, being pulled up. There's not a ton of damage right now is my only worry, and there is still a lot of picks available, as the Moen Krill is the ban for University of Illinois Central. But I guess we'll have to see what they end up going with, as UIC Deadlock have a lot of damage already with the Celeste and the Victor, who's kind of that mixed bruiser frontline. Let's see what they respond with, and let's see if they can punish all this utility coming in. It's kind of hard to, so maybe it's not a bad draft decision.
I'm just curious about the Moen Krill ban, right? You saw the amount of utility already being picked up by Alabama Gaming. Why not ban out a carry? Try to limit their pool even further. Instead, you go with the Moen Krill, which maybe you could have picked up yourself. He's been pretty buffed in the early game. He's still going to fall off hard, right? His curve goes like that. But in the early game, so much more impactful, which you love to see. The Yamato, though, scooped up, and there's the Venator. That's the carry I think is going to get the most amount of play as Wraith is taken off the board. That leaves Alabama wanting. Mirage got hit pretty hard. 7, I think, is in a good spot. Infernus has been adjusted more to like a nuker kind of character. So I'm curious to see what M1 they go with.
Yeah, if they even go with one. They might just pick like Kelvin, and then what else? What's another utility character? Doesn't matter. Lash, get a little bit of damage, a little bit more strict engage. I guess, Doorman can kind of be engaged right now, but he's more of a unique engage with the doors. He's kind of more of a supporty utility character, not much of an engage. The Lash is going to be a good slot in to some of these characters, the Celeste, the Victor, the Rem. Sometimes if gets CC'd while Rem is on you, the Rem does get knocked off, so that is going to be a pretty good idea there for the Lash, but it might be a bit annoying to play into the Yamato. We'll have to see. As the Grey Talon, I'm assuming that's going to be a gun Grey Talon, or maybe some sort of hybrid with Mercurial Magnum, some sort of way, shape, or form. I kind of hope it's going to be a gun Grey Talon for the sake of University of North Alabama Gaming in this game 1, as the characters on University of Illinois Chicago, they're not squishy. Rem is a little bit squishy. Celeste can be if she builds full damage, but now that they have the Abrams especially, they all have some sort of built-in beef and utility to them where they're not going to die easy, right? And a couple arrows to the face and one ground slam is not going to do it in the late game, so we'll have to see if they can even get to the late game. But interesting comps for both sides. If I had to guess, I would say maybe our friends over on the Hidden King, University of Illinois Chicago, seem to have a bit more of a coherent roster, but I don't know. This North Alabama Gaming roster is kind of freaking me out here. I'm not really sure what to think about it.
It's a lot of Spirit Burst for me. Early game Spirit Burst. They want to get a good roll, a good lead, and kind of just keep that advantage moving forward, which it is possible to play, but you have to play incredibly aggressive and incredibly decisive. As soon as you get a pick, you have to roll it into objective. You have to press your advantages. You cannot make a mistake, and you cannot allow openings for the University of Illinois Chicago to get into this game, because once it gets to that late game portion, like minute 25, etc., these characters are going to be unstoppable. They're going to be tickled by the burst, as you mentioned. So it's Alabama. They can do it, but this is a tough thing to execute. We've seen the pro level type teams like Melee Creeps, etc. Do this kind of composition. You got to be quick with it. I do like UIC Deadlock's team. I think that's just more well-rounded, as you said.
All about ease of execution. That's my biggest thing in this game. It is a very difficult game. Lots of things to pay attention to, so the more your comp makes sense, the better it looks to me. So we're getting into the game now, and one thing that I'm really looking at is going to be this right-hand lane that we're seeing right now, Venador and the Yamato against the Doorman and the Great Talon. I had a feeling these two are going to be paired together as they have a lot of burst, the Call Bell and the arrows, as we're seeing it right now, but the healing from the medic is going to keep that Venator nice and healthy for them.
I was curious why Yamato wouldn't be in the mid lane with the Celeste, just a ton of spirit poke, right? Just kind of burst some people down, and then, you know, have the Abrams over here with the Venator kind of combo. If someone gets in a trap, you shoulder charge them. There's some more synergy there, I feel, whereas I think right now the Abrams is going to have to keep this Calico in check. If she rotates, he will rotate and make sure she can't get to this early snowball lead, because she's still going to be really impactful in the early game. Will fall off late, but has a little bit better scaling as long as she gets that ability, the second ability point that gives her the bonus souls on kill. But I'm seeing, is that a golden goose egg here for the Lash?
There it is, the new item, the golden goose egg. Basically, for those who do not know, when you buy it, it slowly increases in soul value over the course of the game, and if you keep it long enough, it can give you a big soul increase. However, it does have the price of, you know, minus 10% damage across the board when you have it on. So when you're picking that item, you're not looking to kill anybody with it. You're looking to farm waves, bounce them back and forth, get that soul income as high as possible, and then sell it when you're looking for one of those juicy power spikes.
And that's interesting to have it in what I'm going to call the quote-unquote off lane or unsafe lane, right? Because you want to keep that carry of the opposing team under pressure, which means you want to do damage to them. You want to make sure that they don't feel comfortable in lane. If you get the golden goose egg, then you're feeling passive. You're gonna tickle, right, with your ground strike, etc. Really gonna be relying on the entangling thorns of the Ivy to keep this Victor under wraps. But the tag along from Mucello will be singing a lullaby and keeping him up all night long. So, all right, I'm taking that lane. Probably going to be a win for the Victor and the Rem.
Yeah, there's no killing that Victor at this point with the Rem healing, the medic healing, and just the natural regeneration that you're going to be getting. Probably with Radiant Regen when the Victor decides to get it in that game. There's not enough damage. I think their idea here, like you said, just bounce out those lanes, get the Ivy, throwing the, just throwing those keys, throwing all of those abilities at the wave, clear it as fast as possible, and then go farm the camps. Let the Lash roam and make plays there. Big call bell here over on the right-hand side, and it's starting to go exactly how I said it, Philly, as we see the Venator and the Yamato getting very, very low. Still even in soul, so they're not really losing any waves, but they might need to lose something soon, or they might lose their health bars completely. Here's the Doorman trying to place a door, trying to look in the shop, but it looks like the Venator is already long gone, farming some boxes. The Yamato's playing safe. They don't want to die just yet.
Okay, so cautious. We'll help them. They do lose but about 3 or 4 troopers on that wave. No impact damage now for the call bell, so you do have to toss it and you do have to shoot it. But man, I mean, it just does so much damage, and it radiates slow if you get it high enough in terms of the ability points. So this Doorman looking to keep his carry alive. Basically, he was going for the extra charge, and I think queued up a Mystic Spirit, so going for that full Spirit Burst as well. I'm seeing another Golden Goose Egg. I thought this was a troll item, George.
Nope. It's actually very, very good. I think if you recognize you're not going to be killing your opponent, it's one of the best items to get. First item right away. You know, you start with 600 souls, you load into the game, farm a wave, go back, grab that egg. It'll, as you saw the Celeste, it's already almost selling for 700 at this point. So it's almost paying for itself, and it hasn't even been 2 minutes. So, since she probably got it at this point. So it's definitely a very, very strong item if you get it in the right circumstance. However, it's nothing, you know, super broken crazy in my opinion. I think it just helps get that power spike.
And that's going to be crucial because, as we mentioned, ability scaling, I think, is the key of this patch. Who's going to get their abilities online first, which means you need souls. All of the bounties for the neutral objectives, like the Guardians, the Walkers, even the mid-boss, has increased, which will once again get you to those power spikes of your abilities. So the Golden Goose Egg, a nice injection of souls, might get you to that timing that you need to trick your opponent into thinking they can win a 1v1, and you turn it on their head. So, well done. As we get to the bridge buffs here for now, it looks like both will be claimed by the Hidden King.
Yeah, actually one little one little fun strategy one of my lane partners was doing today is they buy Golden Goose Egg on Rem. They play safe. Obviously, they're playing Rem, right? Not trying to kill or anything. They're just playing safe, letting their lane partner do the damage, which was me. And as soon as the Golden Goose Egg reached a certain threshold, they sold it, got Cultist Sacrifice, ate a minion, and then they extended even more of that gold lead, right? And getting that income up even higher. So there's a lot of interesting things you can do. I'm not sure if that's even a good strategy or not, to be honest with you. But it was pretty funny when they told it to me, so thought I'd share it, give the little shout out there. But long story short, lots of new interesting things you can do with that item. Not sure if it's going to be the most competitively viable, but these players are taking it for a spin, and I'm loving to see it as we're getting a little bit of a pause. A little bit of banter back and forth as well. No kills yet. No big changes really in these lanes yet. The only thing that's surprising me is look at the Venator and the Yamato. They bounced back. They managed to get back into the lane, took a second, got their health back just a little bit further. And the Greytown and the Doorman, I mean, I wouldn't say they ran out of steam, but they got to start back from square one now.
Well, where's this Venator? Is he trying to cut the wave? I mean, he's deep in enemy territory, Jordan. He's got to be careful there. Or he just be coming for a wraparound. Maybe a gut shot will set up a kill for the grappling slash, or the flying slash now, rather, to the Crimson Slash. All the slicing and dicing from the Samurai. But you're right. It's been a very kind of calm, very relaxed game here as the players are trying to feel their way into it. I feel like once those ultimates do come online, though, the fireworks, they're going to explode.
Oh, yeah. I mean, right now they're just throwing rocks at each other. They're throwing duds, but as soon as they get the power, they will look for these kills. There's the Abrams going for it now. The ultimate's not going to be connecting as the cube does protect this Viscus, but I don't think any kills are going to come from it as there was no stun on the charge as well, so the Viscus is just going to run out.
Yeah, and then missed the melee hit, so that's unfortunate. But he loved the combination and the good timing here as another Death Slam rings upon the battlefield, this time onto the noggin of the Victor. But he stands tall with a quick jump start to shoo this pesky Lash away. The Flog and the grappling to maybe put him 6 feet under. He does have the reanimation should he need it, but the Entangling Thorns come to his aid.
This is the good part about the current state of Victor is that, yeah, he dies, goes ahead, they loses the second life here, but the cooldown isn't so crazy as to where, oh, for the next 5 minutes I can't do it, right? So all he has to do is just play a little safe, bounce some waves, he's already at half health, and then one medic minion, he's going to be back to full. I mean, it's not really that big of a deal, especially he has the Rem as well. I mean, it looked nice from the Lash, but, I mean, all it really is doing is making it so Victor can't push you down and, you know, I guess win the lane further. They're just going to be playing passive at the end of the day. So we'll see. You know, it looked cool. At least gave us something to talk about. But at the end of the day, a whole lot of nothing on this one. But mid lane is, I mean, they're getting violent over here in this mid lane, Philly. But I feel like they just can't get the job done either side.
I mean, mid lane is my favorite lane of Deadlock because this is where the casters come out to play. Not just us, buddy. Talk about the players in the Cursed Apple, just slinging spells, trying to get that Guardian down as quickly as possible. Another slow skirmish in the jungle won't be resulting in too much. I'd be curious to see if the Victor did get his first ability point into the reanimation, because if he does, that means when it's on cooldown, he gets that extra fire rate, etc. The Flying Slash does go catapulting through, almost taking down the Doorman, but he's able to wiggle on out of there.
Maybe not quite yet. He's 1 HP, and it looks like the TFK goes down in the opposite lane here, and it looks like the Yamato popped the ult, but she just could not quite find the vision to get the Doorman. Finally, we see a kill, though, on the other side. It's going to be the Calico that did go down there, leaving that Viscus all alone to defend the tower. And a great play, finally, from the Abrams and the Celeste. They've been getting aggressive all laning phase, and finally, it looks like it paid off. Get a little bit of tower damage, get one of those kills, slight soul lead. That's exactly what you want to see if you are UIC Deadlock.
Yeah, and if you can unlock this Abram to start making rotations, or hell, even the Celeste, can really help facilitate the rest of your lanes. This Abrams, though, in a really sticky situation. Good thing the Celeste is there with some Radiant Daggers to shine the lights to the exit route. Still some work to do as the Leaping Dash comes through, tries to cut down the Detective. A Puddle Punch barely whiffs, and I think the Abrams, with the Infernal Resistance, a parry to now turn the tide. The Radiant Dagger to slow him up once again, and it's a Bob skip and a weave for the Calico to get out of dodge.
Yeah, I think that Abrams, he didn't channel that punch right away after the parry, and he got a little scared. I mean, that happens sometimes with the parry changes that happened a little while back where you're not stunned quite as long as you used to be. So if you miss that first punch, you know, it's not quite true anymore if you try to go for that punch again. So Abrams just decided to play it safe, back up, but still very, very good play to get out of dodge there. Good parry on the reaction. He wasn't even looking, just did it off the sound cue, so well done there for Atlas. And manages to get out alive. One thing I'm paying attention to here is this Owl who's going on to the Yamato and gets the kill assist. Beautiful job there. Well done for the Doorman and the Great Talon. Finally getting a kill. I mean, I think that's the first one, correct me if I'm wrong, in their lane. And they've had a very, very strong laning phase, I mean, on paper at the very least. So I would expect them to have a bit more of a soul lead than they do. But finally now, that kill on the Yamato is going to do at least a little something.
And that's why I was curious as to why the Yamato is over there. Like, what are you really getting done? How are you helping this Venator create space or do anything? So it just, I don't know, a little peculiar for me, but maybe those two play together, Chip and Harsh play all the time, and they just feel more comfortable, you know, going to and fro. And speaking of that, the Gamer Man is the one who gets on the kill feed, right as I was saying it. So, well done. But the urn is now on the battlefield here, Jord. I want to see what these two teams do to contest it.
Honestly, I don't even think it's going to be touched for a little while. I wouldn't be surprised if they just let the whole first urn go right off the bat. I feel like this Lash and this Ivy are enjoying their spot right now in this left-hand lane, and mid lane is so volatile. I feel like if you're University of North Alabama, you would be a little scared to try to contest that urn. Getting through that mid lane would be a big task that I wouldn't be wanting to do if I were them. So we'll see if they end up taking it or not. Not really sure, as we're seeing right now. They're all too content just to sit back by their towers and keep farming.
Venator going on another rogue mission, this time for the Sinner's Sacrifices, leaving Yamato to kind of fend for themselves, maybe get some much-needed souls into their pocket. But the Venator scaling has the most souls so far in the Cursed Apple. That is exactly what you want to see if you are a Hidden King fan and a fan of the University of Illinois Chicago. The middle Guardian goes down the map now, opening up.
Opening up, and that is huge for UIC Deadlock, as you're opening up this Abrams, you're opening up this Celeste to make an impact on the game, instead of just back and forthing this mid lane Guardian, as we're seeing yet again. On the opposite side, though, another Guardian going down. This time, it's the lane we thought it was going to be going down on. That Doorman and Great Talon getting the job done. Only one kill for the board, but hey, you won the lane. You got a bit of a soul lead, and you got the first Guardian, rather, right? So we'll take that. As the Ivy actually goes down on this left-hand side, a bit of fighting was going on as we see the Venator roaming over there.
The wrath of God striking justice into the heart of the opposition. The Venator, on a maybe unannounced relocation, was able to get a double kill, and the Baroness Hotel finds itself a guest. The bell rung for service, and the Doorman will deliver. Another friendly Guardian goes down. There's so many souls that these Guardians now have tucked up their sleeves that are being just sprayed upon the battlefield. This is massive for Chip to come online.
Yeah, I'm just seeing those numbers on the team souls going up like crazy when these Guardians go down. It's kind of crazy to see, as I think all but three of these Guardians, excuse me, are going down. That top right Guardian for the blue side, for North Alabama Gaming, is still alive, so they're going to be trying to defend that with their lives. As, oh my goodness, Rem goes down to the Lash, the slam dunk right on top of him. No one to jump to. That is just rough if you are Mucello. However, not really too much else to play for in that lane, as the Venator and the Victor should be holding that Guardian just fine.
Yeah, and they're going to need to keep that secret shop activated for both of their carries to get maybe another item or two online. They both have 11k, just jumping and Chip, and so that feels pretty good. While all the while now, resources have to be brought over to contend with this Abrams, who's just been pressuring the Walker. Already some chip damage, but an urn is being run by this Venator. I didn't know he could move that quick.
Oh yeah, he moves nice and quick for sure. Definitely an interesting carry. I do like the character overall. Kind of has that duo, you know, tracking with his gun, but also has the flick kind of, you know, almost like a sniper ballista type potential with his ultimate crossbow, right? Shooting those stakes out. And he does end up tagging this urn, so it's going to be a 10k soul lead now for University of Illinois Chicago against the University of North Alabama Gaming. They, you know, their goal was to get ahead early, and with their comp, I don't really see a way of them coming back if they get too behind. So I think we need to see this, you know, North Alabama Gaming roster actually start getting active here. The Great Talent and the Doorman, excuse me, do a good amount of damage. We need to see them get online a little bit better right now.
And that's what we were talking about during the draft. If you're playing this type of early game composition, you have to be full throttle. The Calico, I think, maybe has 1 kill. She has not been able to make the rotations and help the rest of her team as a Calico needs to. The Abram in the Baroness Hotel, but I think he'll be okay. He does have the seismic impact if he needs to fly out of it. The cart, though, will drag him away for now, but there you go. The ultimate, like a superhero, might come crashing down in return. Is he going in for it, George? Okay, maybe he's trying to sneak out through some of these juke closets. He's going to fight this 2v1. The Celeste here is charged into the battlefield. The Shining Wonder bouncing around everybody. Welcome to the big top, she says. The wrath of God is striking fear into the hearts, and okay, the turnaround here for UIC Deadlock.
Yeah, I mean, the Abrams was 1v2 for a little bit, but he looked on the minimap, he saw his teammates running in behind him. The Rem was right there in case the Abrams needed, and he was more than safe enough to go back in there as the Yamato is going to be taking this last Guardian for University of North Alabama Gaming. That is going to be a flex slot for them, and that is now going to be a free lane for that Yamato to just be farming all game as the Venator's running around, making plays, farming centers, farming minions, doing his thing as we're seeing him actually looking to steal this double camp here, which is going to be huge for the income for UIC Deadlock. They're just skyrocketing ahead. Still only 11k ahead. I say only. I mean, that's still a pretty big lead for them, but they should be starting to invade, looking for a couple picks, and as soon as they do, you already know one of those walkers is going to fall very, very quickly.
100%. And we're looking at the urn now, folks, and you may notice there's a little red arrow on top of it, which means it's a disadvantage urn. So if the likes of UIC Deadlock pick it up, they're going to have to go into enemy territory to return it. So I like that's a nice little change there for us casters.
Oh, yeah.
Love to see, so we don't have to do quick maths because, you know, Jordan, you and I both suck at it. So love to see it there. For now, the players content to farm up as we head into the mid-game. Still those golden goose eggs racking up some souls. I'm seeing about 1,800 here for the Celeste.
Yeah, that's a 1k gold, or soul rather, profit if Celeste were to sell that right now. Same with the Lash, who has it on the board. And this is a round where you'd want to look to sell it as well, right? The mid-game is opening up, the Guardians are down, and if you are a Lash or a Celeste, you want to be doing a bit more damage. That minus 10% is very, very noticeable if you keep that on for some of these big team fights that should be coming up in the next probably 3 minutes when the urn respawns. So I would definitely, if I were them, look to sell that soon, look for a bit of a power spike, and then look for a big team fight maybe on this next urn if this one does not get turned in. But for now, it's just kind of hovering around. It is that disadvantage urn, so it's just going to be sitting in the base of UIC Deadlock.
And the best thing you can do is deny the other team from getting it. That's souls that are off the board for them, and it doesn't really cost you too much. But I love what you said about the golden goose egg. I feel like now is the time. Get another tier 2 item online that's really going to boost up your power spike, get some burst potential on the board for you, and then really take a team fight, force a mid-boss or something like that, and then, you know, wipe them, and then go for it. So, but we'll see. They might be playing the more patient game, waiting for it to really get juicy before they sell it. For now, all that the University of North Alabama can do is play defense, but that will cost them the great talent.
Yeah, and defense, I mean, they're not really set up for it here, as the Abrams and the Venator are very, very quick to jump on top of that walker on the right-hand side. First one is going to be going down. That's another flex slot for them. More scaling, now almost 20k souls ahead. I mean, really, I'm impressed. University of Illinois Chicago is just slowly scaling, not taking too many big risks, taking, you know, the towers and the opportunities when they find them. And I mean, they haven't really made any major mistakes so far. I mean, I say that, I don't want to jinx it too hard as the Victor is looking to go in on this Lash, but the Lash should be mostly alone as the Viscous is busy farming that wave, so shouldn't result in too much. But man, I mean, denying the souls, slowly just keeping them forced into their own area, taking all the camps, this is really, really good Deadlock so far.
It's methodical. It's macro game at its finest. And stunned in the air is the Celeste with the ground strikes followed up. No, the Acrobat so shifty in the skies, but it's another death slam from the heavens to bring them down. but Chip is there to have a chip on his shoulder. He is notching some bullets in his belt. They're fighting over this walker now in earnest. Finally, Jordan, the first major fight of this contest. The Shining Wonder bouncing to and fro, but GG will succumb to the arrows of the Grey Talon. It's a 1-for-1 trade. The walker still stands.
You know, it was a great engage from the Lash, who actually ended up buying Refresher with that purchase. However, didn't really wait long enough for the team to get there, so there is not going to be that ult up for the rest of this engagement. They still managed to make it a 2-for-1, so definitely not the worst at all for University of North Alabama Gaming. And they might get a third here as the Abrams is a bit out of position, stayed a little bit too long, but a great parry from the Abrams onto both of them, who get the punch onto the Lash, and now the Calico needs to be careful. That Abrams is looking dangerous.
Oh, a true captain is Atlas. He's read the parries like a book, but now the rest of the team is gonna get another one? A triple parry for him, the lifesteal keeping him alive. Somebody take down the detective. Okay, finally he kneels. But Gamerman has come to his aid, is able to clap back on this Calico, now finds a juicier target in the Grey Talon, and that's a burst kill if I've ever seen it. 3-player kill streak here for Harsh.
I mean, Atlas, beautiful job from this
Sheesh.
Abrams at stalling as long as possible, picking up one, I would argue 2 extra kills, as that stun onto the Calico did allow allow Harsh rather on the Yamato to come in with that power slash and finish up the job. It allows them now to pick up this urn, and with Grey Talon down, so is Atlas though. I'm not quite sure if they're gonna look to dump this one in. I would assume they're just gonna keep it safe for now, but man, that was an aggressive fight from both squads. Not really too much for USC Deadlock. They actually ended up making their soul lead a little bit less than it was. However, they did kind of come out of that situation nice and even with a great play from Atlas, as we just saw earlier. So not the end of the world, but definitely very, very over-aggressive from them, and they didn't get much for it, other than the fact that they managed to secure this urn, at least, you know, secure it safe for now so the other team can't get it. But the game's a bit at a stalemate now. I mean, I'm not really sure. One team, USC Deadlock, we said they're playing methodical, but I feel like they're starting to play a bit more, you know, a bit reckless almost now with that play.
Yeah, I think they were trying to force, like I suggested, force something, see what you, sometimes you have to test, right? You got to limit test. Where's the other team at? And they saw that they can't really take down Atlas. He can stand tall in these fights. They know if they do have to take another, 6v6 engagement, Atlas can lead the charge, and they'll be okay with that. Chip is still scaling into this game with 24,000 souls to his pocket. The Yamato taking a quick relaxation in the Baroness Hotel. Will return to the shadows to make sure she gets out of dodge. But look at this, already grouped up as the rest of the team, making sure she gets out safe.
Yamato putting all of the shampoos and hotel towels in the bag and getting out of dodge. No one knew what just hit him, as nothing really came out from that Baroness there. But, gotta try. Like you said, if you're University of North Alabama Gaming, that's really all you can do at this current moment, is look for an engage, try to get a pick or two, just inch your way back into this game, and maybe you can give yourself a shot before this Venator becomes absolutely unstoppable. And he is getting to that point very, very soon. 24K, so the build is not completely online yet, but it's enough to where I would be worried for them, as they're hovering the urn. The Venator actually going to be the one carrying it over on this right-hand side, and it looks like they might be looking to dump it here, as it is going to be a 4v3 on this right-hand side. The Calico is going to take this time to get that mid lane Guardian, finally securing them that last Guardian of the game. So University of North Alabama are keeping them at bay for now, not letting them get the urn, getting that Guardian in return. And over on that left-hand side, if we actually missed it a little bit, the Lash almost dying, but held that Walker single-handedly, so well done from University of North Alabama Gaming to just hold the University of Illinois Chicago at bay for the time being.
And I thought they were going to go for it. UIC.
Yeah,
I mean, Atlas, just the way he's positioning aggressively, but now he finds himself in a solo bolo situation. The ultimate expended, the return to the shadows for the Calico, and can't be snuffed out by the detective. He will just kind of prowl around the rooftops. But this is what I mean. He knows he can take these fights. He knows he's ahead, and he'll just whittle down abilities as best that he can. So, once again, back to this kind of stalemate position. The teams are going to ebb and flow the wave state to try to, trickle down these walkers best they can.
Yeah, I mean, a slow game so far, and I touched on it earlier, but I want to talk about it again. The refresher for this Lash.
Crazy.
Very interesting decision. I mean, he sold the Golden Goose Egg, got that big cash influx, and decided, you know what, I'm going to go crazy. Let me buy the refresher, get a bit more utility, get another ultimate to try to make a play. However, the problem with that, you know, as a fight is breaking down right now, is you might not quite have enough damage to do anything, but right now he's not even a part of the fights. He's just trying to hold the lanes, as we're seeing Ghost actually ends up going down here, I believe, in that middle lane, if I do remember correctly. So well done to the Victor, who somehow manages to get out from the Baroness Hotel alive. Had to use one of his lives to do it, but still manages to go for it anyway. Got it out, going absolutely nowhere, as this mid lane siege still continues on, as we see a bit of an outnumbered situation here for University of North Alabama Gaming. This Viscus starting to rotate in order to match that, but not going to be too big of a deal, as this Walker, I mean, it's holding strong, a bit stronger and a bit harder to kill now at this point in the game after the patch notes, so that could be part of the reason why Illinois Chicago is struggling to take this one down. But like you said, they're not really taking too many risks so far. They're kind of going back and forth, not really sure what they want to do here, but at the end of the day, they're still up 21k.
And this is some of the hardest things to do in any MOBA, is how do you close out the match? Right? In other games, there's kind of like what is called the pub push, when everyone's like, oh, the timer's running out, let's everybody just coordinate and press ultimate, right? It's not the case in the MOBA. You do have to be much more coordinated to focus your efforts to take down a Guardian, because you need everybody's damage to do just that. It will be a single Death Slam onto the Celeste, but look at this Circus Freak fly. She is jumping, but the refresher to bring her back. No way! The Venator with a gut shot takes down Sky Aurora. Oh, right. Clipped the wings of the Lash, finally not sparkling now. Another Baroness Hotel, this time on the Venator. The Doorman just trying to keep the people in play. The Venator, he says, I've got the Wrath of God on my side. I just need one more shot to put you 6 feet under.
He's looking for it too. That great gut shot on to the Lash. And now the Doorman's going to be the one going down, as the Abrams Atlas, the hero so far of this game, comes on in, dives up the Walker, and now here we go. The big fight for University of Illinois Chicago. They're diving the Walker. They're looking to take it down. It looks like it will be going down, but can they also win the fight? The health bars are starting to get low, but the members of University of North Alabama Gaming are also getting low, as the Great Talon goes down, the Doorman goes down, the Lash has already been down, the Ivy goes down now. It looks like they've run out of steam. Let's see what they can get on the return. I don't think it's going to be much.
The split pushing Calico? Question mark? Like, is she the fastest to ever do it? I don't know, but now she's got to go toe to toe with the Victor, who's pretty much almost at critical mass, 33,000 souls in his pocket. He's going to chase down the arms dealer, probably eliminate her. Yeah, that's an easy 3-kill streak here for the carry.
Yeah, I mean, once they get Leech and escalating, it's kind of max build. I mean, you're full build at that point. Obviously, you could still make yourself a little bit stronger, but there's nothing changing anymore about what's going on with the Victor. He's just going to run you down at full max strength. And now, with those picks and with that pressure, they're going to be able to take this mid-boss. However, hold up here. The Lash is posturing. Might try to go for some sneaky... No, not quite. The Lash thinks against it. Rose did not quite want to go in there, and that's going to be 3 Rejuve Crystals for the University of Illinois Chicago, who are looking to close this one out.
Yeah, so mid-boss probably next on the menu. Link, for me, the Viscus player, this is what I was kind of fearing, not just because of the player, but from the patch notes, in terms of how they're really not as strong in the early game. You need to invest a lot of ability points, which means you need to invest souls into it, and usually support characters, they're fine with playing with minimal amount of souls. Viscus, not so much the case. Venator, though, playing with house money, ton of souls in his pocket, runs into a couple, but thinks better of it. Just jumping to and fro these battles. He's just going critically low, but he's taking so many resources, this Victor, it's hard to defend against.
Yeah, I mean, when the Victor gets online, it takes so many resources, as you said, to take him down, or not even to take him down, just to keep him at bay. It takes either someone that is incredibly fed on your own side, but looking at University of North Alabama Gaming, they don't have that, right? So they have to dedicate 2, 3, sometimes 4 members just to stop the Victor from moving, which means that the rest of the map is undefended, right? Or, if you are University of Illinois Chicago, you can just play with the Victor and run right behind him, as we're seeing the split-pushing Calico there, Philly, actually sneaking that Walker, which is going to be huge, giving them another flex slot to scale off of a little bit. I'm not even sure if they have the souls to make use of it.
I'm rubbing my eyes, man. It's midnight here on the East Coast, but okay,
Oh, yeah.
split pushing Calico. Not one you see every day, but new patch, new things, friend, right? But now I'm looking for, how does UIC close this out? They have the advantage, 50,000 souls, a final walker push, 3 rejuves, but into the Baroness Hotel goes the Victor, trying to stem the bleeding for now. Heroics from the captain, the seismic impact does connect, the shoulder charge to boot. That's a book that does the work, and the revolver will take down another. The Lashies in the worst for wear. Rose might be clipped. The Reju finally eliminated now, but 2 more still remaining. The Walker still stands as the dust settles down.
I just want to point out the Victor did not have ultimate in that situation. Went down to 200 HP, got ulted by the doorman, and then lived. Did not even have to use a reju, just walked out of there. No one was able to because of the heroics of Atlas that now allows into a full crumble of University of North Alabama Gaming. University of Illinois Chicago, baby. They came to play. They got the 5-man wipe. They're pushing into the base. Both shrines should be falling. The first phase of the Arch Mother should be going down as well. I mean, I don't really see how they can come back from this. University of Illinois is just cooking right now as the Ray Talon goes down.
And that is a ritual reset. All 6 members down from North Alabama Gaming. I thought the timers would come through. Oh, they will, because now the first phase of the Archmother is about to be chunked. So those timers go down to half. But still a few more than nap time. Still available for Mucello. He has a lullaby still to sing. It looks like UIC, they're thinking about hanging around. This could be the final fight as the weakened patron now unveils themselves. Atlas finds himself a solo bolo there onto the doorman. All eyes focused onto the Arch Mother, but they have some defense. The bells ring once more. Snags up 2, brings them to heal. But still, this not even doing anything to Atlas. This Abrams so damn tanky. The refresher now called into action. 2 tossed into the Mother once again. Atlas brought down and crumbled. The goo ball bouncing around like a ping pong, trying to stun some people up to get some work happening, but the Victor is here to save the day, and game 1 will go to UIC.
And a great game for UIC. For the most part, fairly clean. There was one shaky fight over around that mid game, but after that, I think they woke back up. They realized, hey, we don't need to be as scared of them as we thought. Let's just group up, find our push, find our timings, and they did just that, and a beautiful job from UIC to start the series off.
I feel like that's where I always fall when I play MOBAs. I don't ever realize I'm as strong as I think I am, right? I'm like, no, I still just need one more item. But like, sometimes you just have to know, if I've got this and this, I'm probably pretty good. Let me test it out and see what I can get done. Well, finally, the feelers were put out there from UIC. They're like, oh, yeah, we've got this in the bag. And they ran it all the way down and secured game 1. As a reminder, folks, this is a best of 2, best of 2. So, we got one more match to say the least. But I think we have the MVP, Jordan. Let's see who it is.
Let's take a look at the scoreboard. Of course, it's going to be the Venator. Most souls second most souls in the game. Yeah. I'm actually curious to see who came back and took that title from them. But most kills, had that kill streak, did a ton of damage, ton of stability for the team of UIC Deadlock. And that's the beautiful part about having a gun carry, right? Is the fact that you can just, even if you're losing a little bit, or even if the other parts of your team are going down, just let the gun carry farm. You can scale a little bit. It was the Victor who got the souls. That makes sense. Mm-hmm. The Victor ended up coming back and doing the most, basically, of everything. I'm surprised he didn't get MVP. I guess he got key player, so, similar deal there, as the Victor was creating all of the pressure, but the damage coming through was definitely all chip, as 8-0. I mean, that's a pretty good score.
Yeah, didn't die a single time, and he was rotating around the map consistently. But dunked 2 urns, was finding ganks, everything. So well done for Chip, a player to watch for sure. North Alabama Gaming, their comp they had a certain timing to get to. Their alarms didn't go off, and they kind of overslept for class. So missed it, but we've still got one more game to go. I think we'll send it to break. We'll see y'all on the other side.
Expressions that really fit you, and so I've racked my brain hoping to explain all the